knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? For what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand. Their counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? How oft comes their destruction upon them? God distributed sorrows in his anger. They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff upon the storm carried away. God lays up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth them, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his months is cut off in the mist? Shall any teach God knowledge? Seeing he judges those that are high. One dieth in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk, his bones are moistened with marrow. And another dieth of the bitterness of his soul, and never eats with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, and the worms shall cover them. Behold, I know your thoughts, and the devices which ye wrongfully imagine against me. For ye say, Where is the house of the prince? Where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have ye not asked them to go by the way? And do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? Who shall repay him what he hath done? Yet shall he be brought to the grave, and shall remain in the tomb. The claws of the valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him. There are innumerable before him. How then comfort ye me in vain? Seeing in your answers there remains falsehood. Job chapter 22. And Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Can a man be profitable unto God, as he is wise and may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it any gain to him that thou makest thy way perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter into thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thy infirmities infinite? For thou hast taken a pledge for thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink. Thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, he has the earth, and the honorable man dwells in it. And thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken. For therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, or darkness that canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of the heaven? And behold, the height of the stars, how high are they? And thou sayest, How does God know? Can he judge the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him that he seeth not, and he walks in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way, which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with the flood, which said unto God, Depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filleth their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it, and are glad, and the innocent laugh to them to scorn, whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of the fire consumeth. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Therefore thou shalt come unto thee. Remove, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thy heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacles. Then shall thou lay up golden dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense. Thou shalt have plenty of silver. For then thou shalt have delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up the face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, thou shalt hear, and thou shalt pay thy vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. When the light shall shine upon thy ways, when the men are cast down, thou shalt say, There is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and is delivered by the pureness of thy hands. Job chapter 23. Then Job answered and said, Even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groanings. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might find coming even to his seat, that I would order my cause before him, and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me, and understand what he would say unto me. Will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he would put strength in me. Where the righteous might dispute him, so should I be delivered forever from my judge. Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. On the left hand, where he doth work, but I cannot behold him. He hides himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he had tried me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot hath held his steps. Neither way have I kept and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than the necessary food. And he is one mind who can turn him. What is his soul desireth, even that he does. For the form the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Therefore I am troubled at his presence when I consider I am afraid of him. For God makes my heart soft, and the Almighty troubleth me, because I was not cut off before the darkness, neither hath he covered the darkness from my face. Job chapter 24. Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they know him that not see his days? Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks, and feed thereof. They drive away the ass of the fatherless, they take away the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way, the poor of the earth hide themselves together. Behold, as the wild asses of the desert, they will lay forth to their work, resting betimes for a prey. The wilderness yieldeth food for them, and for their children. And they reap every one his corn in the field. And they gather the vintage of the wicked, and they cause the naked to lodge with the clothing. For they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains. They embrace the rock for want of shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast, and take the pledge of the poor. You want to take over?
Yep.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. I'll read till 10 o'clock. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take him from the sheaf of the hungry, which makes oil within their walls, and tread their wine presses, and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet God layeth not folly to them. They are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, as in the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me, and in disguiseth his face. In the dark they dig through houses which they have marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one knows them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the water, their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the way of the vineyard. Drought and heat consume the snow and waters. So doth the grave those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him, the worm shall feed sweetly on him, he shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. Evil entreateth the barren that beareth not, and doth not good to the widow. He draweth also the mighty with his power, he riseth up, and no man is sure of life, though it be given him to be in safety, whereupon he resteth, his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as with others, and cut off at the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so, now, who will make me a liar, and make my speech nothing of worth? 25. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said, Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies, and upon whom doth his light arise? How then can man be justified with God, or how can he be clean that is born of woman? Behold, even to the moon it shineth not, yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man that is a worm, and the Son of Man, which is a worm? 26. But Job answered and said, How hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? How hast thou plentifully declared the thing as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words, and whose spirit came from thee? Dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. He stretches out of the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth up the waters in that thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent from under them. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath encompassed the waters with the bounds until the night and day come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble, and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power. By his understanding he smiteth through the proud. By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens. He hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. but the thunder of his power, who can understand? Chapter 27. Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, As God liveth, who hath taken away my judgment, and the Almighty, who hath vexed my soul, and all the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils, and my lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. God forbid that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove mine integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast, and will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me as long as I live. Let my enemy be as wicked as he that riseth up against me, as the unrighteous. For that is the hope of the hypocrite, though he hath gained, when God taketh away his soul. Will God hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty? Will he always call upon God? I will teach you by the hand of God that which is with the Almighty. Will I not conceal? Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are you thus altogether vain? This is the portion of the wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors which they receive the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the day, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. And the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall die down, but he shall not be gathered. He opened his eyes, and he is not. Terrors take hold on him as waters. A tempest stealeth him away in the night. The east wind carrieth him away, and he departs as a storm hurled him out of his place. For God shall cast upon him and not spare. He would fain flee out of his hand. Men shall clap their hands at him, and shall hiss him out of his place. 28. Surely there is a vein for silver, and a place for gold, where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth, and brass is molten out of stone. He setteth an end to darkness, and searcheth out all perfection. The stones of darkness and the shadow of death, the flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are gone away from men. As for the earth, out of it cometh bread, and under it is turned up, as if it were fire. The stones of it are the place of sapphires, and it hath dust of gold. There is a path which no fowl knoweth, and which the vulture's eye has not seen. The lion's whelp have not trod it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock. He overturneth the mountains by the roots. He cutteth out rivers among the rocks. His eye seeth every precious thing. He binds the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid bringeth he forth to light. And where shall wisdom be found? Where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the hand of the living. The depths say, It is not in me, and the sea saith, It is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price of thereof. It cannot be valued with the gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx, or with the sapphire. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels or fine gold. No mention of it shall be made of coral or of the pearls, or the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. Whence then cometh wisdom? And where is the place of understanding? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living, and kept close to the fowls of the air, destruction and death say, We have heard the flame thereof with our ears. God understands the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof, for he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole thing, to make the weight of the winds. And he weigheth the water by measure. When he has made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning and the thunder, then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, yea, and he searched it out. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. And depart from evil is understanding. Moreover, chapter 29, Job continued his parable and said, Oh, that I were as in sick in months past, as in the days when God preserved me, when the candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness, as I was in the days of my youth, when the secret of God was upon my tabernacle, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were with me, when I washed my steps with butter, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil. When I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the streets, the young men saw me and hid themselves, and the aged rose and stood up. The princes refrained talking and laid their hands on their mouth. The nobles held their peace, their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. When the earth heard me, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, he gave witness to me, because I delivered the poor that cried, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and he clothed me. My judgment was a robe and a diadem. I was eyes to the blind, and feet was I to the lame. I was the father of the poor, and the cause which I knew not I searched out. I break the jaws of the wicked, and pluck the spoils of my teeth out of his teeth. Then I said, I shall die with my nest, and I shall multiply my days as the sand. My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew lay all night upon the branch. My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand. Unto me men gave ear, and waited, and kept silence in my counsel. After my words they spake not again, and my speech dropped upon them. And they waited for me as in the rain, and they opened their mouths wide as for the latter rain. If I laughed on them, they believed it not, and the light of my countenance they cast not down. I chose out their way, and sat chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one that comforteth the mourners. Chapter 30. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine were they, solitary fleeing into the wilderness in former time of desolate and waste, to cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth among men that cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, and the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, they spare not to spit in my face. Because he hath loosed my cord and afflicted me, they have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth, they push away my feet, they rise up against me the ways of their destruction. They mar my path, they set forth my calamity, they have no helper. They came upon me as a wide breaking in waters, and desolation they rolled themselves upon me. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my soul as the wind, and my welfare passes the way of the cloud. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken up hold on me. My bones are pierced in me in the night season. My sinners take no rest. By the great force of my disease, and my garment is changed, it bindeth me about the collar of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me. I stand up, and thou regardest me not. Thou art become cruel to me. With thy strong hand thou opposest thyself against me. Thou liftest me up in the wind. Thou causest me to rise upon it, and dissolveth my substance. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death, into the house appointed for all living. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave, though they cry in his destruction. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? When I looked for them, then evil came upon me. When I waited for the light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested not. The days of affliction presented me. And I went mourning without the sun. I stood up and I cried in the congregation, I am a brother to dragons, and a companion to owls. My skin is black upon me, my bones are burned with heat. My harp also is turned to mourning, and my organ into the voice of them that weep. 31. I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon the maiden? For what portion of God is there from above, and what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked a strange punishment of the workers of iniquity? Doth not he see my ways, and count all my steps? If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot have hastened to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know my integrity. If my step have turned out of the way, my heart walked with after my eyes, if there's any blot that is cleaved in my hands, then let me sow, and let another eat, let my offspring be rooted out. If my heart has been deceived by a woman, or if I've laid wait at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind unto another, and let others bow down upon her. For this is a heinous crime. Yea, it's an iniquity to be punished by the judges. For it is a fire that consumes to destruction, and would root out all mine increase. If I did despise my cause of my manservant and my maidservant, when they contend with me, what then shall I do when God riseth up? And when he visiteth, what shall I answer him? Did not he that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the poor from their desire, and have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fatherless hath not eaten thereof, for my youth he was brought up with me as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have any perished for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have not lifted up my hand against the fatherless, then I saw my help in the gate. Then let mine arm fall from my shoulder blade, and my arm be broken from the bone. For destruction from God was a terror to me, and by reason of his highness I could not endure. If I have made gold my hope, and have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence, if I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much, if I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, or my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth has been kissed by hand, this also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied that God is above. If I rejoiced at the destruction of him that hateth me, or lifted myself up when evil found him, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. If the men of my tabernacle said not, oh, that we had of his flesh, we cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. If I covered my transgression as Adam by hiding mine iniquity in my bosom, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me, that I kept silent and not went out of the door? Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire that the Almighty would answer me, and that my adversary had written a book. Surely I would have taken upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me. I would declare unto him the numbers of the steps. As a prince would I go near unto him. If my land cry against me, and that the furrows likewise thereof complain, if I've eaten the fruits thereof without money, or have caused the owners thereof to lose their life, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and cockle instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. All right. I will see you guys in the morning. Oh, that's a good place to step down.
Hadn't had anybody fall off the podium yet.
Well, I've been drinking.
There's a notebook in the truck. Would you ask Branden to go get it for you? Or you can go get it. Ben can go get it. Job chapter 32. So these three men ceased to answer Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Eluha, the son of Barhiel, the Buzite, of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled, because he had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. Branden, would you help him find the notebook to draw in, and I have a pen right here. Now Elihu had waited until Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu the son of Vancil the Buzite answered and said, I am young, and ye are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not show mine opinion. I said, Days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore I said, Hearken to me, I also will show mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasons, whilst ye searched out what I say. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, nor that answered his words. Lest ye would say, We have found out wisdom. God thrusted him down, not man. Now he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him in your speeches. They were amazed. They were answered no more. They left off speaking. When I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still and answered no more. I said, I will answer also my part. I also will show mine opinion. For I am full of matter, and the spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine which hath no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. I will speak, that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto man. For I know not to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Job 33. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches, and hearken to all my words. Behold now, I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of righteousness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If thou canst answer me, set thy words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon thee. Surely thou hast spoken in mine hearing, and I have heard the voice of thy words, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Behold, he findeth occasions against me. He counteth me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks, and marketh my paths. Behold, in this thou art not just. I will answer thee that God is greater than man. Why dost thou strive against man? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet a man perceiveth not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, and that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He kept back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and with multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and the soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto man, and saith, Deliver him from going down into the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him. And he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh on men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going down into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo, all these things worketh God oft times with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to the enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify thee. If not, hearken unto me. Hold thy peace, and I shall teach thee wisdom. Job 34. Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge. For the ear trieth words, and the mouth tasteth meat. Let us choose to us judgment. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God hath taken away my judgment. Should I lie against the right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water, which goeth in company with the workers of iniquity, and walketh with wicked men? For he hath said, It profiteth a man nothing, that he should delight himself with God. Therefore, hearken unto me, ye men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man shall be rendered unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Yea, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Who hath given him a charge over the earth, or who hath disposed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. If now thou hast understanding, hear this. Hearken to the voice of my words. Shall even he that hateth right govern? And wilt thou condemn him that is most just? Is it fit to say to a king, Thou art wicked, and to princes, Ye are ungodly? How much less to him that accepteth not the persons of princes, nor regardeth the rich more than the poor? For they all are the work of his hands. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight, and pass away. And the mighty shall be taken away without hand. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with God. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others in their stead. Therefore he knoweth their works, and he overturneth them in the night, so that they are destroyed. He striketh them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turned back from him, and would not consider any of his ways, so that they cause the cry of the poor to come to him. And he heareth the cry of the afflicted. When he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation, or against a man only, that the hypocrite reign not, lest the people be ensnared. Surely it is meet to say unto God, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend any more. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more.
Amen.
Should it be according to thy mind, He will recompense it, whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, and not I. Therefore speak what thou knowest. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Job hath spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. My desire is that Job may be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he addeth rebellion unto his sin. He clapped his hands among us, and multiplieth his words against God. Job 35. Elihu spoke moreover, and said, Thinkest thou this to be right, that thou said, My righteousness is more than God's? For thou said, What advantage will it be unto thee, and what profit shall I have, if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer thee, and thy companions with thee. Look into the heavens and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. If thou sinnest, what dost thou against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what dost thou unto him? If thou be righteous, what givest thou to him? Or what receiveth he of thine hand? Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art, and thy righteousness may profit the Son of Man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty. But none saith, Where is God my Maker, who giveth songs in the night, who teacheth us more than the beasts of the earth, and maketh us wiser than the fowls of the heavens? There they cry, but none giveth answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. Although thou hast said thou shalt not see him, yet judgment is before him. Therefore trust thou in him. But now, because it is not so, he hath visited in his anger. Yet he knoweth it not in great extremity. Therefore doth Job open his mouth in vain. He multiplieth words without knowledge. Job 36. Elihu also proceeded and said, Suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from thee afar, and will sacrifice righteousness to my Maker. For truly my words shall not be false. He that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. Behold, God is mighty, and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. And if they be bound in fetters, and be holden in cords of affliction, then he showeth them their works, and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasure. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. Amen. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when they bindeth them. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression. Even so would he have removed thee out of the strait, into a broad place where there is no straightness, and that which should be set on thine table should be full of fatness. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. Because there is wrath, Beware, lest he take thee away with his stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. Will he esteem thy riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. Desire not the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity, for this hast thou chosen rather than affliction. Behold, God exalteth by his power, who teacheth like man, like him. Who hath enjoined him in his ways? Or who can say, Thou hast wrought iniquity? Remember that thou magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it. Man may behold it afar off. Behold, God is great, and we know him not. Neither can the number of his years be searched out. For he maketh small the drops of water. They pour down rain according to the vapor thereof, which the clouds do drop, and distill upon man abundantly. Also, can any understand the spreadings of the clouds, or the noise of his tabernacle? Behold, I spreadeth his light upon it, and covereth the bottom of the sea. For by them judgeth he the people. He giveth meat in abundance. With clouds he covereth the light, and commandeth it not to shine by the cloud that cometh betwixt. The noise thereof showeth concerning it, the cattle also concerning the vapor. Job chapter 37. At this also my heart trembleth, and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice, and the sound that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roareth. He thundereth with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doth he, which we cannot comprehend. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on this earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into dens, and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. By the breath of God frost is given, and the breadth of the waters is straitened. Also by watering he weareth the thick cloud. He scattereth the bright cloud, and it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatsoever he commandeth them upon the face of the whole in the earth. He caused it to come, whether for correction, or for his land, or for mercy. Hearken unto this, O Job. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Dost thou know when God disposed them, and caused the light of his cloud to shine? Dost thou know the balancing of the clouds? The wondrous works of him which is perfect in knowledge. How thy garments are warm, when they quieteth the earth by the sound wind. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass? Teach us what we shall say unto him, for we cannot order our speech by reason of darkness. Shall it be told him that I speak? If a man speak, surely he shall be swallowed up. And now men see not the bright light which is in the clouds, but the wind passeth and cleanseth them. Fair weather cometh out of the north. With God is terrible majesty. Touching the Almighty, we cannot find him out. He is excellent in power, and in judgment, and in plenty of justice. He will not afflict. Men do therefore fear him. He respecteth not any that are wise of heart. Job chapter 38. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, For I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon the foundations therefore were fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut up the sea with doors, when it brake forth, as if it had issued out of the womb? When I made the clouds the garment thereof, and thick darkness and swaddling band for it, and break up for it my decree place, and set bars and doors, and saith, Hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud waves be stayed. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the dayspring to know his place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, or hast thou walked in the search of the depth? Have the gates of the depth been opened unto thee, or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it all. Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? That thou shouldst take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldst know the path of the house thereof. Knowest thou it, because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, and hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? By what way is the light parted, which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided a watercourse for the following of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder, to cause it to rain on the earth, where no man is, on the wilderness, wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth? Hath the rain a father? Who hath begotten the drops of dew? Out of whose womb came the ice? And the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season, or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? Canst thou lift up thy voice in the clouds, that abundance of water may cover thee? Canst thou send lightning, that they may go, and say unto thee, Here we are? Who hath put wisdom in the upward parts? Who hath given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds in wisdom? Who can stay the bottles of heaven? When the dust groweth into the hardness of the clods, cleave fast together. Wilt thou hunt the prey for the lions, or fill the appetite of the young lions, when they crouch in their dens, and abide in the covert to lie in wait? Who provideth for the raven his food, when his young ones cry unto God, they wonder for lack of meat? Job chapter 39. Knowest thou the time when the wild goats of the rock bring forth? Or canst thou mark when the winds do clave? Canst thou number the months that they fulfill? Or knowest thou the time when they bring forth? They both bow themselves. They bring forth their young ones. They cast out their sorrows. Their young ones are in good liking. They grow up with corn. They go forth and return not unto them. Who hath sent out the wild ass free? Who hath loosed the bands of the wild ass? Whose house I have made the wilderness, and the barren land his dwelling? He scorneth the multitude in the city, neither regardeth he the crying of the driver. The range of the mountains is his pasture, and he searcheth after every green thing. Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee, or abide by thy crib? Thou canst bind the unicorn with his band in the furrow, or will he harrow the valley after thee? Wilt thou trust him because of his strength is great, or wilt thou leave thy labor to him? Wilt thou believe him that he will bring home thy seed and gather it into thy barn? Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings of feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them? She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because God hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted unto her understanding. What time she lifted up herself on high, she scorneth the horse and his rider. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck in thunder? Canst thou make him afraid as a grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. He paweth in the valley, and rejoiceth in his strength. He goeth on to meet the armed men. He mocketh at fear, and is not affrighted. Neither turneth he back from the sword. The quiver rattleth against him, the glittering spear and the shield. He swalloweth the ground with fierceness and rage. Neither believeth he it is the sound of the trumpet. He saith among the trumpets, Ha ha! And he smelleth the battle afar off, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Doth the hawk fly by thy wisdom, and stretch her wings toward the south? Doth the eagle mount up at thy command, and make her nest on high? She dwelleth and abideth on the rocks, upon the crag of the rock, and the strong place. From thence she seeketh the prey, and her eyes behold afar off. Her young ones also suck up blood, and where the slain are, there she is. Job chapter 40.
You want to stop?
It's 10:30.
I'll read. I'm supposed to be here. I'll read till Shannon gets here. Job chapter 40. Moreover, Lord answered Job and said, Shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? And he that reproveth God, let him answer it. Then Job answered to the Lord and said, Behold, I am vile, and I answer thee. And I will lay mine hand upon my mouth, and once have I spoken, but I will not answer, yea, twice, but I will proceed no further. And then the Lord answered unto Job out of the whirlwind, and said, Gird up the loins now like a man, and I will indeed of thee declare thou unto me. Wilt thou also deny my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mightst be righteous? Hast thou an arm like God? And canst thou thundereth with a voice like him? Deck thyself with majesty and excellency, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Cast abroad the rage of the wrath, and behold every one that is proud and abase. Look on every one that is proud and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, and bind their face in secret. And then I will confess unto thee that thine own right hand can save thee. Behold, on the mouth which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. Lay low now, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. And he moveth his tide like the cedar, and his signs of his stones are wrapped in together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass, and his bones are like bars of iron. And he is the chief of the ways of the gods, and he that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all beasts of the field play. He lieth under a shady tree, and coveteth the reed and fens. And shade trees cover him with their shadow, and willows of the brook compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. And he trusts that he can draw up Jordan in his mouth. And he taketh in with his eyes, and his nose pierceth through the snares. Chapter 41. Job 41.
Say it loud, say it proud.
Say it loud, say it proud. Job 41. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with the hook, or his tongue with the cord which thou lettest down? Canst thou put a hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make any supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee? Wilt thou take him a servant forever? Wilt thou play with him with a bird? Or wilt thou bind him with thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay thine hand upon him. Remember the battle. Do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down, even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is done, the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a closed seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together, that they cannot be sundered. By his sneezing the light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of the mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves, they cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone. Yea, his heart is a piece of nether millstone. When he raiseth him up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breaking their purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold, the spear, the dart, nor the harbinger. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear. Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp-pointed things upon the mire. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh the path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Upon earth there is not his light. who is made without fear. He beholdeth all high things. He is a king over all the children of pride. Chapter 42. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore I uttered what I understood not, things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by hearing of the ear, but now mine eye hath seen of thee. Wherefore I abhor myself, and repent in dust and ashes. And it was so, and after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said, Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against thee and against thy two friends, for ye hath spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job hath. Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. For him I will accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, and that ye have not spoken of me the thing which right, like my servant Job. So Eliphaz and the Temanite, and Bildad the Shiite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did according as the Lord commanded them, and the Lord also accepted Job. And the Lord turned the captivity of Job, and when he prayed for his friends, also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all that had been of his acquaintances before, and did eat bread with him and in his house, and they bemoaned him and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. And every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than in his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of the first Jemimah, the name of the second was Keziah, and the name of the third was Kerab-Hamputh. And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. And after this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died, being old and full of days. Psalm chapter 1.
Hey.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like the tree planted by the rivers of the water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Psalm chapter 2. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth shall set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord, and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill in Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day I have begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Psalm 3. Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say in my soul, there is no help for him of God. But, O thou Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of mine head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessings is upon thy people. Psalm 4. Hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. How thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself, and the Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness, and put your trust in the Lord. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for the Lord thou only makest me dwell in safety. Psalm 5. Give ear to hear my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee will I pray. My voice shalt hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and I will look up. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak deceit, and the Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come unto thy house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in thy fear I will worship toward thy holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in thy righteousness because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their own tongue. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy because of thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, wilt bless and righteous. With favor wilt thou compass him as with a shield. Psalm 6. O Lord, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thine hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed. But thou, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O save me from thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave who shall give thee thanks? I am weary of my groaning. All the night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. My eye is consumed because of grief. It waxed old because of mine enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for the Lord hath heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord hath heard my supplication, and the Lord will receive my prayer. Let all mine enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. Psalm 7. O Lord my God, in thee do I put my trust. Save me from all them that persecute me and deliver me. Lest he tear my soul like a lion, rendering it in pieces while there is none to deliver. O Lord my God, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, yes, I have delivered him that without cause is mine enemy. Let the enemy persecute my soul and take it. Yea, let him tread down my life upon the earth, and lay mine honor in the dust. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of my enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about. For their sakes therefore return thou on high. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God trieth the hearts and reins. My defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart. God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travelleth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he hath made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. Psalm 8. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. How hast set thy glory above heavens. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightiest shalt still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy finger, the moon and the stars thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visiteth him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou hast made him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the paths of the sea. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Psalm 9. I will praise thee, O Lord, with all mine heart, and I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou Most High. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou saidest in thy throne judging right. Thou hast rebuked the heathen. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out thy name forever and ever. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they will know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praises to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my trouble, which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise. In the gates of the daughter of Zion, I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forgot God. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectations of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves, be but man. Psalm 10. Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou myself in the times of trouble? The wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his harsh desire, and the blesseth of the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for his enemies, he puffeth them at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved. For I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth murder an innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong one. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, and he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out the wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may be no more oppressed. Psalm 11. In the Lord I put my trust. How say ye to my soul, Flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privately shoot at the upright in heart. In the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteousness, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. Psalm 11. Help. The Lord, the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart they do speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who hath said, With our tongue we will prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from the generations forever. The wicked walk on every side, when the vilest man is exalted. Psalm 13. How long wilt thou forget, O Lord, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemy say, I have prevailed against him. And those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. That I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto the Lord, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. Psalm 14. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. For all the workers of iniquity, no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and are called not upon the Lord. There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when the Lord bringeth back captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Psalm 15. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor take up the reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out of his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Psalm 16. Persevere me, O God, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto the Lord, thou art my Lord. My goodness extendeth not to thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent in whom is all my delight. Their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names to my lips. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Lord who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Psalm 17. Hear the Lord, O God, attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of framed lips. Let my sentence come forth from thy presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me, and shalt find nothing. I am proposed that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the works of men by the word of thy lips, I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O Lord. Incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show thy marvelous loving kindness. O thou hast saved by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee, for those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eyes. Hide me under the shadows of thy wings, from the wicked that oppresses me, from the godly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in thy own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. From men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in his life. And those whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake for thy likeness. Psalm 17. I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my strength, in whom I will trust. My buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord, and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved, and were shaken because of his wrath. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and the fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down. The darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the winds. He made darkness in secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters, and thick clouds of the sky. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones of coals and of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomforted them. Then the channels of water were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered. At thy rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemies, and from them which hated me. For they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. He brought me forth also into the large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself in mine iniquity. Therefore hath the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful, and with an upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou shalt show thyself froward. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, and wilt bring down the high looks, and thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and my God hath leaped over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The way of the Lord is tried. He is the buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is God save the Lord? Or who is the rock save our God? It is God that girdeth me and strengtheneth me, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that the bow of steel is broken, that the bow of steel is broken by mine arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, and that my feet did not slip. I have pursued mine enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them, that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, and I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me to the strivings of the people, and thou hast made the head of the heathen, a people whom I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their close places. The Lord liveth, and blessed by my rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. It is God that avengeth me, and subdued the people under me. He delivered me from mine enemies. Yea, thou liftest me above those that rise against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. Great deliverance give he to his king, and showeth mercy to his anointed, to David, and to his seed forevermore. Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of the Lord.
How long you want to read for? Hour? Half an hour?
Yeah.
All right? Okay. Whenever you get ready. And I guess Kevin will be next.
The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where the voices are not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is the bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making the wise simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart, and the commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and keeping of them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgressions. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Psalm 20. The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of God of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt sacrifice. Grant thee according to thine own heart, and fulfill all thine counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our God we will set up our banners. The Lord fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I that the Lord saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven, with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save the Lord, let the King hear us when we call. Psalm 21. The king shall joy in thy strength, O Lord, and in thy salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. Thou hast given him his heart's desire, and hast not withheld him the request of his lips. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. Thou hast set a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life of thee, and thou give it to him, even length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in thy salvation. Honor and majesty hast laid upon him, for he hath made his most blessed forever. Thou hast made him exceedingly glad with thy countenance. For the king trusteth in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out all those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger, and the Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their fruit shall thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. And they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back, when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Be thou exalted, Lord, in thine own strength, so that we sing and praise thy power. Psalm 22. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my roaring? O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season I am not silent. But thou art holy, and O thou art that inhabit the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. And all that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, and they shake the head, saying, He trusted on the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver